Good evening, and welcome to Cancer Lifeline's Resources for Hope. My name is Jasper Graywall, and I'm the CEO of ROI Technology, a longtime donor to Cancer Lifeline. We believe Cancer Lifeline's mission is vitally important to our collective communities and have had the privilege and honor of supporting and sponsoring Cancer Lifeline's community services and educational programs since 2014, including supporting the transition of all Cancer Lifeline programs from in-person to online at the onset of the pandemic with no interruption of service. As a sponsor of tonight's event, my company is one of over 15 corporate sponsors who've stepped up to support Cancer Lifeline's work on behalf of low-income cancer patients. We at ROI Technology stand with Swedish Cancer Institute, the Commerce Bank of Washington, UW Medicine, Evergreen Health Halverson Cancer Institute, Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, Soundmark Wealth Management, Overlake Medical Center, Farmers Insurance, Pathstone, WeWork Washington, Windermere Real Estate, the Royal Bank of Canada, Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, AAA Fire Protection, the Al Hadaf Family Foundation, and Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. I know that I speak for all of tonight's sponsors when I say that sponsoring tonight's event is the least we can do. With our support, Cancer Lifeline can concentrate on the business of raising money for people with cancer who are making hard choices, paying their light bill or making their copay, buying groceries or paying for medication. Together, sponsors and donors alike, we can make sure that our resources bring hope to many people. Together, we can help Cancer Lifeline optimize the lives of all people living with cancer. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, Jasper, for your great opening remarks. Welcome one and all to the 8th Annual Resources for Hope. Tonight, we're here to raise funds for Patient Financial Assistance Fund. These funds are given to cancer patients at key points in their cancer journey, just when they're faced between continuing their health care or meeting life's basic necessities. Once again, we are holding our fundraiser online, and our goal tonight is to raise $500,000 to support Cancer Lifeline's Patient Financial Assistance Fund. We know we can do it with your help. Here's how you can support us tonight. It's really easy. Just text the word "for hope," all one word, to 91999. So you send a text to the number 91999, and the message is "for hope." You'll get an immediate response with a link to our donation page. And then keep an eye on the chat running alongside our program on your screen, and you'll see real-time updates of our progress to our goal. Last year, during COVID, we walked the red carpet to raise hope for our clients. This year, we're bringing it home. Let's take a look at what that means as Cancer Lifeline starts to re-inhabit our house, and we reignite the magic that makes our organization so special. A little bit later on in tonight's program, you'll meet some of the people behind the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. But first, let's learn about the people Cancer Lifeline serves.
This is the story about how Cancer Lifeline makes a difference in the lives of nearly 1,000 cancer patients every year, one person at a time.
Just one little sign of positive news in the midst of all of this cancer news for them is just a sign of hope, a sign of positivity.
They've helped me a number of ways. Things were tight. I was on Social Security, and because I wasn't the right age, it wasn't the right amount. And I said, I'm desperate. I don't want my car repossessed. And she said, are you going to be okay if we make the payment this one time, which was $400? And I said, yes. When disability kicks in, I will make it. And that $400 check helped my car not be repossessed.
Currently, cancer costs exceed $80 billion each year. As a physician, I use the term financial toxicity to describe the difficulties a patient has related to the cost of medical care. Some patients feel that financial toxicity is even more severe than physical, emotional, social, or family distress.
It's really hard for people to ask for help, especially financial help.
The difference can literally be whether or not somebody can afford water and utilities, light, phone, internet, or groceries that month.
Those worries can weigh us down. Helping with life helps fight cancer. That money is invaluable to people that are in need.
Nationally, financial toxicity in cancer is substantial, with 42% of an estimated 9.5 million newly diagnosed cancer patients depleting their life assets within 2 years.
For these cancer patients, they're coming in weekly, maybe twice a week, maybe every other week. They don't have time to work. A lot of our patients are taking time off work to recover and heal from treatment. And they're not getting a lot of income, if any at all.
Cancer patients who receive support services have improved treatment outcomes and increased rates of survivorship. Safety net funds, such as Cancer Lifeline's Patient Financial Assistance Fund, are key to mitigating the effects of financial toxicity.
The emotional power of a financial gift is incredible. My clients' faces visibly light up when I talk to them about this grant.
I just know that I have bragged to others, both on my Facebook page, in person, by phone, about how wonderful, just in general, that entire program and the people's compassion. Oh my gosh, I've never known a place to be so loving, so kind. You got me through a rough patch with that $400 check. It was amazing. Thank you. Lots.
When I first got involved with Cancer Lifeline 8 years ago, we were able to help a couple hundred people with the PFAF grants. To know that we now have the chance to help over 1,000 people next year with these funds makes me more than proud to be standing here tonight. It makes me determined to do what it takes to meet our goal. I know we can do it with your help. Let's learn more about the need for these critical safety net funds. I'm pleased to introduce John Mahembe, a patient navigator with the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance. He sees firsthand the impact of financial toxicity on his clients.
It's not easy to ask for help, especially financial help. It takes a lot of courage. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the courage I witness every day when I talk with patients who are dealing with cancer. My name is John Masembe, and I am the Black/African American Clinical Patient Navigator with the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance. For many of the patients I work with, The struggle to keep everything going while dealing with cancer diagnosis is a huge daily challenge. Part of my role is to help patients overcome the barriers to active treatment and support their families and caregivers with tangible needs related to their care. For example, this includes addressing cost of care, financial assistance, and cultural brokering. I also often need to connect them to resources for housing, medical transportation, and insurance. The goal is to alleviate the stresses so that the patient can focus on the success of the treatment. There are many barriers to treatment faced by patients, but the financial barriers on how to overcome and continue to pay for utility bills, rent, medication, co-pays, transportations are the biggest. Patients should not have to choose between medical bills and life's essential needs. Should they pay for rent or for medication? Do they pay for groceries or the light bill? As people are living longer through treatment, there are more and more people who need us. And the pandemic made things more acutely clear. Research indicates cancer patients who receive supportive services have improved treatment outcomes and increased rates of survivorship. This is particularly notable in the Black African American patients who I work with and are often underinsured, single income families with dependents, and can afford to leave work to go to treatment. A grant from Cancer Lifeline's Patient Financial Assistance Fund might not seem like a huge amount of money to some of us, but I have seen firsthand what relief it could bring. When I tell my patient that the check is on its way, that donors in their homes like you are reaching out to make sure that my patients can stay in their homes, it makes it all worth it. These checks bring hope, hope that they can turn this corner, stay on this medication, and keep their lights on. The relief that we bring is the hope they need to keep going. I hope you will join me and make a gift tonight in support of the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. This fund brings immediate financial relief and it brings hope back into people's lives. Thank you.
To help us get to our goal tonight, I'm pleased to announce that we have a special matching gift challenge. 3 anonymous donors have stepped up to match every dollar raised up to $100,000. That means that your gift will go twice as far and help twice as many people. It's super easy to give. You text the word "for hope" to 91999 on your phone, and presto, you're on your way to helping people stay in treatment and meet their basic needs. Do it now, and your gift will be matched dollar for dollar. Remember, your donation in any amount to the Patient Financial Assistance Fund goes to work immediately. Now let's join Advisory Board member and Resources for Hope co-chair, Monica Adams, as she brings home the news about the people who make the PFAF happen at Cancer Lifeline.
Joseph, it's so nice to be here with you at the Dorothy O'Brien Center. You are Cancer Lifeline's executive director, and you've been here working through the pandemic, keeping the lights on and keeping Cancer Lifeline moving forward.
Thanks, Monica. It's great to be talking to you in person, too.
What a crazy time it's been for the world and for Cancer Lifeline. How did Cancer Lifeline adjust to the COVID reality?
At the beginning of the pandemic, our amazing staff and the wonderful team at ROI Technology moved all of our programs online. We were able to keep all of our programs free and accessible to everyone. This allowed us to continue helping thousands of cancer patients. In fact, our program usage grew by over 17%. Our Patient Financial Assistance Fund has always been accessible online and by phone. Sadly, the need for financial assistance only grew as a result of the pandemic.
Tell us how Cancer Lifeline was able to rise to the occasion and meet the needs of financially challenged cancer patients.
Our amazing donors and sponsors. We couldn't do it without them or people like you, Monica.
It seems to me that this fund has grown every year with the effort to meet the demand. Is that true?
Yes, it is. In 2016, we helped over around 300 people. In 2021, we're going to provide assistance to over 1,000 individuals. And every year, we've raised the amount of each grant.
Wow. Will that meet the need?
Honestly, no. We're falling short of fulfilling all the need by 25%. We hope to close the gap this year.
Tell us how the Patient Financial Assistance Fund works.
Well, our fund provides financial assistance to eligible patients with cancer. The patient can use the funds however they need, and every month we make our funds available through a strong network of social workers, and every month we serve as many people as we can.
How does the Patient Financial Assistance Fund help patients?
Wow, in countless ways. The assistance used for gas to get to and from treatment, for copays, for utility costs, or rent. We do this because no one should have to choose between following up with their treatment protocols and keeping the lights on. These safety net funds provide more than financial relief. They remind patients who are going through one of life's most difficult challenges that they're not alone, that they have a community of support behind them.
How big of an issue is this, Joseph?
Well, 1 in 3 Americans will face a cancer diagnosis at some point during their lives. According to state data, at least 40,000 people are living with cancer in Washington each year, and 10% of those individuals live below the poverty line. That's over 4,000 people a year who need a hand up.
I've heard you talk about the whole patient approach. Can you tell us, in addition to awarding these grants, how does Cancer Lifeline support our patients?
Cancer Lifeline is the most comprehensive free cancer resource in the Puget Sound area. It's available to any individual facing a cancer diagnosis, as well as for their caregivers, family, and friends. Every year, Cancer Lifeline helps thousands of cancer patients build strength through classes in nutrition, exercise, and stress reduction. We provide emotional support and connections through our support groups, our telephone lifeline, and the Lifeline chat. We even provide further mental health benefits through our counseling and art therapy programs. When we follow up with our Patient Financial Assistance Fund recipients, we learn what they need and connect them to our other free services.
That's truly amazing, Joseph. And I know from personal experience because I've referred friends to Cancer Lifeline, and they sing your praises. How many cancer patients and caregivers do you help each year?
Well, in 2020, we provided over 18,000 points of service to those impacted by cancer, serving over 7,000 unique individuals. Over 840 were served with financial assistance, and every year the need grows.
Joseph, the information you've provided really brings it home about the need for the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. Tell me, what does bringing it home mean to you personally?
Bringing it home for me means feeling amazed by the generosity of our donors who, from their own homes, without the incentives or a fancy gala, they're all reaching out to make sure that our clients can keep the lights on in their homes.
Thank you, Joseph. You are one of the most dedicated and hardworking advocates for our clients. You make a difference.
It all comes home for me when Joseph talks about how Cancer Lifeline meets people where they are. To know that these funds are issued quickly, that we get them into the hands of people who need them right away, makes all the difference. While these funds provide financial relief, it's clear that they also provide hope. Our clients are not alone. They have a community of support behind them, and that community is you. If you haven't donated yet and you'd like to do so, please text the word "for hope" to 91999 on your phone. Please check the chat to see how we are progressing towards our goal. Remember, any gift made right now will be matched dollar for dollar up to $100,000. Now we will join Monica as she chats with Megan Wilkins Melanson, Cancer Lifeline's Director of Programming, to learn just how great the need for these funds is for low-income patients.
Hi, Megan. It's great to be back home at Cancer Lifeline.
Thanks, Monica. It's great to be back here with you.
You are Cancer Lifeline's Program Director, and you oversee the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. Tell us about who we serve with this fund.
Well, the mission of this fund is to serve financially challenged cancer patients living or receiving cancer treatment in Western Washington. These people are often in unstable housing, struggling to put food on the table, or living with very strapped financial means on Social Security disability, and just really in a financial tough spot.
How great is the need for these funds, Megan?
Well, it's no surprise to us that the demand for these funds continue to increase. As our fund has grown over the years, so has the knowledge that it is available. And during the pandemic, many people were faced with job loss, people who were already kind of on the financial fringe, but cancer didn't stop. So our funds have truly become a lifeline for people being diagnosed with cancer. $450 provides patients with funds to seek dental treatment prior to starting chemotherapy, or also just have groceries to put in their fridge.
Megan, tell us how Cancer Lifeline brings it home for our clients.
I love this question. So fund recipients are also connected to our other no-cost programs and services. So each individual that applies for funding and receives funding is also connected to all of our other services. So we deeply listen to the needs of our recipients. And I think the best way that I can really tell you how Cancer Lifeline brings it home is by sharing a beautiful note of gratitude from one of our fund recipients.
That would be great.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sending me a check. I had just undergone my 5th surgery. All 5 surgeries took place within a 2-week period. I had just enough gas in my old truck to make it home and back to my radiation appointment the very next day. I did not know how I was going to make it home or to all of my other scheduled radiation appointments going forward. I decided to stop at my mailbox, which is 1 mile before I turn onto the gravel road, which takes me down the final trek to my residence. There was one piece of mail in my box. I opened it, and the tears of hope and joy surged. Your loving gift has helped to save my life. I feel so blessed to have loving souls such as yourselves, sharing your strength, dignity, and hope.
Well, that really brings it home, Megan. You're always a wealth of information, and you have a heart of gold, and you make a difference. Keep making that difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A tour of Cancer Lifeline's headquarters wouldn't be complete without a conversation with Lynn Bihar, founder of Cancer Lifeline's Patient Financial Assistance Fund and co-chair of tonight's event. Let's learn how this whole thing got started and why, after so many years, Lynn still supports this effort.
Thanks for being here today, Lynn. You've been involved with Cancer Lifeline for quite some time now.
It has been a long time, Monica. I was somewhat involved with Cancer Lifeline from about 1985, but I've become much more involved in the last 20 years.
I'm really touched by your commitment to Cancer Lifeline. What keeps you involved, Lynn?
I'm passionate about all the work that Cancer Lifeline does. It's incredible what this small organization can do. I'm especially concerned about people who can't financially afford to live with cancer. You asked what keeps me involved. What keeps me involved is the client Megan told us about who could get treatment because of our help. And what John said about our checks representing hope. The hope our clients need to keep going and the assurance our clients need to know that they are not alone. That's what keeps me involved.
So, it's no wonder you found the energy and drive to create the Patient Financial Assistance Fund.
Well, it was kind of a no-brainer. The greater Seattle cancer community has needed this fund forever. Being an oncology social worker for many years and seeing so many people in need and not being able to help them was very frustrating. Since those days, the need has only increased exponentially. Now we work collaboratively with social workers and patient navigators in the community who assess and identify people who need our help. What Cancer Lifeline does that I'm so proud of is to respond quickly to people's needs. It's so important that people don't have to wait for funds. Their requests are turned around quickly. Even if we can't send them a check immediately, we have many other ways of helping them find support. One example is that our staff will work with utility companies so that people's services are not turned off before they get the funds to pay. This program is comprehensive.
How does it feel to be back home at Cancer Lifeline's Dorothy O'Brien Center, Lynn?
You know, I've always said these walls talk, and they do. They have so many stories to tell over so many years. The reason there are such rich stories is because of our incredible clients, and also because all of the volunteers who've given us so much time, those who serve on the Lifeline and those who serve as board members on our board of directors and on our advisory board, and those who volunteer to make our events happen, like you, Monica. All this hard work makes sure that we can keep our programs strong, relevant, free, and accessible for all people living with cancer. There are no words to express our thanks for our amazing volunteers. So you asked how it feels to be back home. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be here. It sounds kind of cheesy, but home really is where the heart is.
And you, my dear, have one of the biggest hearts I've ever known. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for bringing it home tonight for Cancer Lifeline and for the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. But thanks to all of you who made a donation tonight. Your generosity is our resource for hope. Now to take us home, here's Seattle's own Nicole Walters and her quartet.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. A wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They're learning much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They're learning much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. And I think to myself, and I think